Welcome back. You haven't been this far away from civilization for a while. The trees here grow thick and large, and in the clearing nearby, a large lodge stands, a beacon of civilization in these untamed wilds. You've arrived here to discuss a deal with an enigmatic figure, simply known as the Duke, whom you know to be very old and very powerful. Now, this also means that you know he probably has things which you desire as payment, be it books, artifacts, or simply knowledge that you might use in your studies. You have traveled to the western mountainous area of Bulgaria to this end, and now having arrived to a mountain lodge in the middle of nowhere, you sit in a car with a driver provided to you by the Duke. Outside the lodge, a small round wooden table has been set up, and it's lit by a simple electric lantern sitting in the middle of it. Upon the car's arrival to the lodge, a man comes out and sits down in one of the chairs by the table and simply observes the car. So, before we go any further, how about you introduce Avery? What does Avery look like?
Certainly. So Avery is tall, well over 6 foot. She's wearing a very neat kind of like pantsuit, just charcoal grey colour, with some sensible shoes. She's very, very pale, and she's wearing these rose red sunglasses that cover her full eyes, despite it being light brown curls around her head. So yeah.
Well, the driver sits in the car and looks back at you. He looks to be in his 20s, perhaps. He sort of his eyes dart between you and the door, sort of indicating for you to, well, leave the car.
Yeah. She will get out, and close the car door behind her, and make her way over to the gentleman sitting down at the table.
Yes, and I will show him to you. I believe you should be able to see him now. So he is an older man. He's got short hair, which is quite. He seems to be using some sort of, like pomade or something to sort of get a very sort of slick look in his hair, as it's sort of, quite tight to the scalp. He has a quite nice suit, but it looks to be a bit older fashion. Like, it almost seems like it has a little bit of like a shoulder padding on the suit, so it seems like an older suit, but it's very nicely made, and it's in very good condition. And he has a light beige shirt under it, and he gives a wide smile as Avery approaches. Miss Ruthven, I hope I pronounced that properly.
Yes. Thank you.
Welcome to Bulgaria. I hope your travel here has not been too arduous.
No, it's been quite pleasant.
Well, the I'm sure you might have uh, heard some rumors, but the master wishes to extend an offer for you to visit and peruse at your own discretion, of course, his library. I have heard from some contacts in the area that you might be interested in such things.
I would be more than interested in such a thing. From what I've heard of the Duke, he has a vast collection. Pray tell, what kind of arrangement would be made to have such an opportunity?
Well, the Duke, she simply requires quite a minor task to be done in return. You see, he has these guests coming. They will arrive at the airport, not far from here at Vidin, and we need someone to escort the truck from the airport along with our regular driver, just to make sure that everything goes nicely. And as soon as the driver lets you off here with the others, it will then be your responsibility to get them from here to the castle. Now, this might seem like a very easy task, and it should be, but the reason why you are trusted with this is simply because we could not take the risk that we hire someone with either Sabat or Camarilla loyalties to do this. You see, the reason these guests are here is simply to, well, that is no. You don't need to worry about why the guests are here. The thing anyway that you need to worry about is just getting them to the castle.
I see. May I ask, these guests, are they associated with a different group? Do you think there might be trouble?
Well, they are associated with the Camarilla. I can tell you that much. Now,
I see.
the reason why we need someone outside of, well, the Camarilla to look into this is that, well, we want to make sure that whoever travels with them is an impartial witness should something happen along the way, you see. And we think that getting someone from the Camarilla might mean that they will be more liable to dress up any mistakes, any problems along the way. But you have a reputation for honest and fair dealings, and so we thought we would contact you.
I see. Well, I am honored that you would consider me for such a request. Before any agreements are, of course, made, how many of these people are coming?
There will be three.
Three.
Two women
I
and
see.
one man. Quite young, I believe.
Young?
Well, for your kind, certainly.
Oh, interesting. I wonder why they would send someone so young. Well, nevertheless. Mm. And once they have arrived at the castle, would my job be to stay until they are ready to leave? Or
Well, yes, the deal will be a two-way thing. We hope that you can also travel with them back to the airport, as I assume that you will also wish to leave this place at some point. Now, the both my master and I, and most of the servant, along with these three, will all be heading out after a certain time, and you are free to, at this point, come with, of course, to leave the castle. But should you wish to leave after arriving before them, that should not be an issue as such. The real payment for the job will, of course, be to, well, stay and study in the library, so I assume you will be staying for a little, but you are free to, of course, leave at any time you wish.
I see. Well, I would be interested, more than interested, in being able to study in such a place. So I would be happy to see your guests to where they need to go.
Well, that is very good to hear.
Tell me, do you know if the guests themselves will be any trouble?
Well, I do not know them. I only spoke with them very briefly, and as far as I could tell from one of their elders, they are quite well behaved, but they are young, so I wouldn't put it completely past them.
At that, Avery will kind of just give a small smile. To perhaps keep an eye on them, I see. All
Yes.
right. It will be a change of pace, I'm sure. Certainly.
The master only has 3 real instructions that he wishes for you to impart upon the arrivals as soon as they, well, arrive. The first will be to get to the castle in a hasty and, well, hasty manner. Now, after getting to this lodge, and he will lean back a bit, and he will just sort of point up to his right, sort of off, again, on this picture of the lodge. I guess it's off to the left, and it's sort of a big sort of mountain, or like more like a hill really from where you are, because you're quite high up in altitude, and there's like a path that leads up there that you can see that goes between a bunch of trees, and it just snakes its way up, and it says, that is the way to the castle. You follow this path until it leads you to a vista, and from this vista you can, in one direction you should be able to see the town not that far off, but on the opposite side you will then be just able to see one of the towers of the castle on a on one of the hills next to it. It should take maybe between 4 and 5 hours, I think, in a regular walking pace to get from this lodge to the castle. So that is the first thing that will be important to tell the others. The second thing is that my master is a very private person. He is very peculiar and about his rights being upheld. And so he is not, of course, he has no issue with having guests, and they will be offered any hospitality. But any places that are put off limits to them are off limits to them. And should they trespass in any of these areas, I cannot quite account for how my master will react.
Understandable.
And the third thing is that at this lodge, and he'll sort of just point back to the building, there are some minor accommodations should there be an emergency of any sort, any need to stay a night before coming to the castle. Although, again, please arrive at the castle with all due haste. But if there is a need to stay here, then there are certain of these doors which can be unlocked with this key, and he'll just take out a key and sort of put it on the table, and he'll say, any door which is unlocked by this key is free to be used. Any door not unlocked by the key, that area is off limits.
Of course.
And those are really all the things that they need to know.
I have a question.
Of course.
If there were an emergency and we were forced to stay here for whatever reason, is there a way of contacting someone at the castle to let them know?
I'm afraid my master is quite old-fashioned about certain technologies, but I do have, and he just fishes up a little notebook and a little pen, and he just writes down, scribbles something on one of the pages and rips off a page and hands it to you. I do have this, it's a number for a satellite phone, which I have in my possession at all times at the castle. Should there be an emergency, then yes, you can call this number. But again, if you are just staying here for a night, that is not really to be considered an emergency.
Of course.
But should anyone obstruct you in any way to come to the castle, yes, then please call, and my master will make sure that you will arrive safely.
Perfect. Then, when are they to arrive?
Well, my master has a cargo plane which they will travel on, and they should be here in 5 nights on the upcoming Sunday.
I see. All right. I will make sure to be ready for then.
Is
I'm
there
sure-
anything else you wish to know?
Not that I can think of, no. I think I have all the information I need.
I see.
Mm.
Well, then you can always take the car back with Dimitri here will take you back to Vidin.
Perfect. Well, if that is everything, then I shall wish you good night.
Good night, Miss Ruthven.
She will, because I presume she sat down with him.
Mhm.
She will stand up and give him a kind of like a polite bow, and then make her way back to the car and get in.
And as she walks and gets in the car, and the car speeds off back into the night, as Avery looks back, she sees the man smile and stand up and wave at the car before heading back inside. And that is where this little side episode will end. Until next time.